Hi faithful friends, this weekend I had an amazing day trip to Front Royal, Virginia. It's a beautiful, quaint little town. I can't wait to share you some of the pictures of this beautiful town. But while we were there, my husband and we went to some antique shops and some flea markets and thrift stores, and so I cannot wait to share with you what I brought home with us and how I plan on decorating it. But my favorite part is that we found a free yard sale. I've been finding great treasures along the road, and so I cannot wait to share with you what I brought home from those little adventures and how I plan on styling them. Go ahead and grab yourself a drink of whatever your favorite beverage is, because this is going to be a long one. I'm telling you, my table is just filled to the brim with so many treasures. Some I purchased for very good prices, and most of it though, I found at the free yard sale, aka curbside pickup. So I can't wait to share these with you. So get a drink, snuggle in, and get ready. My husband and I went on a day trip. We met our son. He lives about 2.5 hours from our home. So we met him somewhere in the middle in a little town called Front Royal. It's in Virginia. Mostly because there is a flea market there that my son has been wanting to stop at. And so we just decided to meet up, spend the day together, do a little antiquing, drive through the little town of Front Royal, and see what treasures we could find. You know, one thing I will say, my children, both of them, love thrifting, and they love finding pieces. You know, they each collect different things. Or, you know, my son, he's more into coins, and so he has quite an eye for that. And then my daughter, she loves clothing and some boho and mid-century modern style. So we all look for a little bit of something different when we go. So it's, you know, it makes it nice because we don't have to worry about so much competition. But our first stop was at a flea market, and I found a few things there. So I'm going to share those with you first. So let me show you. I'm really happy with, I just need to adjust this a little bit. I'm really happy with what I found there. But the first thing I found was this set of old skeleton keys. There are 10 on here, and I paid $10, so basically $1 a key. But I thought this is pretty. I want to put them in like a little bowl and put them in my memory hutch. I have those 2 other ones in there, and I thought this would just fill out the bowl nicely to decorate with. And there are some really pretty keys on there. So I did get those. And then I saw these old vintage clippers. Like, I guess maybe it needs some work. It's not move, or how does it move? I'm not sure how it works, and maybe it needs some work to fix it, but I basically wanted to decorate with these in the bathroom, of course. So I have this little clipper and then this vintage shaving brush. So now if I just find one of those little shaving cups to go with it, won't that be a cute little vignette? I won't quite be decorating with this yet in the bathroom, but when I get all the pieces together, I can, you know, incorporate that into my decor. But at least I have them, right? And then I found a set of these doilies. There's 1, there's 2, and there are 3. And these are that antique ecru color that I love. I'm not a huge fan of stark white in my house. It's not that I don't like the bright white, it just seems out of place in my house for whatever reason. So this color is perfect for my decor, and I use these by tucking them into like little baskets, little bins, crocks, you name it. And I do use them across shelving as well, just to kind of highlight, pull things together. But These are great. They're actually fantastic if you want to add a little extra like texture, little layering. These are perfect for that. So these, I think I paid like $1 for all 3 of these. It was very inexpensive. So definitely a great deal for that. And then I found, this is a little weird, perhaps a little odd even. It looks a little weird, a little odd. But it is this bone cup. It has a wooden bottom. It's a horn, like a, I don't know what kind of horn, kind of like a shofar horn. So I don't know if it was, yeah, I don't know what kind of animal it's off of. But now hear me out on this. I wanted it because I have that very primitive looking teacher's desk over here in my living room. And I thought this would look more to that period, to that style. And I just thought it would kind of work in that environment. Even if I put some feathers or something in it. I don't know. I wanted to see what it would look like in a very primitive decor. I thought it was unique and inexpensive. Now, I don't think it's like an authentically antique piece. I know, like in some people, when they decorate in the primitive or even the colonial, early American styles, they would have like a tavern room or one of those little bar, caged bars in their those antique homes. And so they did drink out of cups like this, but I don't think this is that old, actual antique. It's definitely real. But anyway, if you know anything about those, let me know. I mean, it could be antique. Chances of that happening, I think, are slim, but anyway, I got that to play with. Worst case, if I don't like it, I will pass it on. You know that. And then I found, I've been looking for these because I on my back deck, if you saw that video, you know that I have this old, very rustic, like a potting bench that I have decorated with a bunch of clay pots. And on it I have this green wooden sprinkler that's shaped like a frog. Well, I wanted more sprinklers to go with it. So I found this one. It was 50 cents. Now this is kind of funny. The woman was like, I didn't have 50 cents, so I gave her $1. She's like, oh, I don't have change. She's like, well, you can have both of these items for $1. I'm like, but I only want the one. And she's like, so I didn't have 50 cents, but I really wanted this sprinkler. So I ended up buying both of these nozzles for $1. She's like, I've been doing really good today. I said, I bet you have, because you have no change and you have to upsell everything, basically. So I thought that was pretty funny. She just kind of didn't know how to take me, but I mean, I was being funny. I wasn't being like snarky, but I'm like, oh, I bet you are doing well because, she got $1 out of me rather than 50 cents. But, even if this is just for $1, it's a brass nozzle, I think is worth it. Both of these are solid brass, so pretty good deal. But that was, I thought that was kind of funny how she said that. Okay, so that's all I got at the flea market. Now, we did go to some antique shops. I didn't buy anything at the antique shops. Well, we only actually went to one. It was this old, it was this store where they have like all these old doors and windows and beams and you name it, architectural pieces from all these old buildings, all different styles. It was pretty amazing. Now, I didn't need anything from that store, so I didn't purchase anything, but it was so fun to go in there and look, and I'll show you some of the clips from that, some of the video footage here, but all these doors, it just reminded me of the movie Monsters Incorporated when they were going through all the doors, and so that was fun to see all of this super old architecture. It was just really, really cool. It was fun, like, especially for someone, like if you're like me, I'm very creative, and I can easily see the potential in things, the possibilities, like, oh, we could do this, so that would be so cool, like this style of home. And so I just had a lot of fun just looking at things, getting some ideas for, you know, our next home that I could possibly do in there. But that was a lot of fun. And the only other actual antique store that we went to, they didn't have anything priced. Like, I don't get that. I don't understand. It kind of irritates me. It irritated me because there were a few things that I would have purchased, but they weren't priced, and I had to ask for it, and the price was okay, but you know, golly, it just kind of irritated me that the prices weren't on things, because like I told my husband, I'm like, I probably would have bought the things that I was interested in because, like I said, the prices were okay, but I had to ask, and then it makes me wonder, you know, does he really want that price? Did he like jack it up? Like, I don't know. I just feel like I would have bought more had I seen the prices. I'd have been like, oh, I don't need this, but that's a great price. But instead I had to ask for everything, and it took the fun out of it. So I didn't buy anything. I just rebelled at that store. So I don't even know the name of it. I do have some clips of it, as you can see, but I don't recommend it just because of that. Like, I don't know, what do you feel about that? How do you feel? Let me know in the comments. Would you shop at a store? I don't even like yard sales that are like that. Like, if I go to a yard sale and they don't have prices, I almost never buy anything. I just don't like that. You know, at least put a sign and say everything on the table is $1 or something. Like, at least do that much. But we went to the flea market. Then we stopped at the Goodwill. There is a Goodwill in Front Royal that I stop at. It's not huge. It's an average size Goodwill, but I always seem to find some really good things there. And I feel like they have some better pricing on their items as well. You know, they're not all created equal, but I found some really cool things. So all of the seasonal holiday items were 50% off. So it didn't matter if it was Easter, Thanksgiving, Halloween, or even Christmas. Everything in that seasonal department was 50% off. Plus the color of the day was, I think, red. I know it was red because I got some red items. I think it was red and green that day. So that was like 50% off the red, plus seasonal was 50% off. So I found some really cool things. So I wasn't even barely through the door, and I found these things, these vintage looking prints. So there's this one. They're Easter. They're all for Easter. Try to show you without the glare. Look how vintage and old they look. Of course, they're reproductions, but let me show you this one out of the wrapper. After I got home, I was like, oh, these are going to be pretty. I could put them in a frame, cardboard, you know, it's like a cardboard cutout or something, I assumed. No, I get it home, and guess what? It is a magnet. So this would be so pretty on a fridge. If I could get a frame that I could put magnets on the back and put it out around. But isn't that just the coolest? Or if you have like a magnetic yard sign, this would be pretty out there as well. Or you could just put it in a frame or use it like it's a picture. Not a big deal. But I got 4 of those. They were $4 and I got 50% off. So they were $2 each. I thought that was fantastic. I was thrilled because I love the colors. And of course, I love that they're vintage. And then I found this was also in the stash. This is a postcard. And of course, I am going to hang this up for Thanksgiving. I may put it out now when I work on my hutch because I love that turkey. The little boy is so cute. Best wishes for a happy Thanksgiving. And there is an envelope with it. It was $2. And you can actually mail it. There's some sparkles on it. It's really pretty. It's got this beautiful ribbon here. It's like a brown and white ribbon. So pretty. I just was thrilled with those. And this is kind of, you know, a decorative item, but it's also a utilitarian. It's this bag full of hinges that I could not pass up. I should probably take it out of the bag. Take one out. Sorry about the wrapper sound. But it's these bar hinges, this beautiful gold color. And these would be nice, you know, in a bathroom, in a kitchen. Again, I didn't want to pass those up for, what did I pay? Yeah, $3 for all of those. And there are 5 of them in there. 5 bar hinges in there. So, or pulls, drawer pulls in there. So that was, I don't really have a house to put them in yet, but I thought they would be great in a bathroom. And if I don't, I will donate them. It's not a big deal. I mean, seriously, I know I say that a lot, and most of everything I buy, thrift, I do use in some way at some point. Some things I do donate back to the cat rescue, and I feel like I waste things on a coffee. I spend more on a coffee, and you know that's not going to last than I did on those hinges. So I think it's a good idea to do that. Anyway, the last piece I got at that Goodwill, also for $2 because it was 50% off, is this. It's resin wall plaque with the carolers. Oh, I thought this is so pretty. I mean, it's nothing super old. It's made in China. Solid back, has the hanger. But I thought this would be pretty hanging on my I like to hang these types of things in the back of my hutches, or I prop them up in a basket or a box just to add a little vintage look and feel to the house. But look at that, that is so pretty. So that's everything I got at the Goodwill. I do have a little cat rescue haul. I'll share that right now. This was on a different day, a different time, but I got a couple things there, and you know it. You know, I get the 50-cent pieces. I'm always like, that's my magic number at that store for whatever reason. But for 50 cents, I got this little cross-stitch pillow. Isn't that pretty? Like, someone put a lot of time and effort into that. I know it's a small little square, but so for 50 cents, yeah, I'm gonna bring that home. It'll be cute to tuck in, especially, you know, in the spring, perhaps for Valentine's with the bright colors. And then there was this cute little can with the geese on it. So pretty. And of course, you know, 50 cents. Here's the lid. So pretty. I just thought that was really pretty. Anyway, got that. Again, I tuck everything in with my vignettes. I layer and I add texture, and all these different elements all work together to make a pretty vignette. Now this item, I think it might be a jar lid, but I'm not sure. But again, 50 cents, but it's this donkey jar lid. And I thought, surely I have something, a crock or a jar of some sort that this would fit on. It's a glass. It seems old by the way it's, you know, created and put together, or vintage anyway. But even if I sit him on a shelf like that, it's cute. You know, I want, you know, when I pass away and my kids have an estate sale, I want them to have a most unique estate sale ever, right? So I find unique things like that. And then if you saw my past video, also I found free curbside. I found that little, I have it here. This is a little salt cellar that goes by your place sitting at a table. Well, that one was free, but I found 2 at the cat rescue. And if you know how to tell if how old these items are, let me know in the comments. But these were $1 each, but they're little salt cellars. They have like an etched bottom. It's like a squared bottom. They're kind of chipped up around the inside. They're not in mint condition, but I thought they would be pretty to kind of display, you know, with the other one and kind of put them as a little grouping. So I went ahead and got those. Okay, I need a drink of water for this. Everybody take a drink of water, stay hydrated. The other evening, my husband came home from work and he's like, hey, there's someone cleaning out a house and they have all this stuff sitting by the road. I'm like, what? You just now telling me? I'm like, everything's gonna be gone. He's like, no, they're bringing stuff out. He's like, do you want to go on a little car trip? You know, take a little ride over. It was like 5 minutes from my house and see what they have. I'm like, of course, yes, like free, it's for me, right? Well, they were in fact cleaning out a house. I assume someone passed away, and so they were probably trying to get the house ready for maybe to renovate or to sell, like a public auction maybe, I don't know. But they were bringing everything from inside out. They were putting the small pieces by the road. The larger furniture pieces they were putting in the garage, I guess, to sell maybe. And then they had a huge dumpster there. But I definitely actually, I don't know if I should admit this, but I actually went there 2 different times. Actually, technically, I think we actually went there 3 different times. We went there the one evening, then the next day we swang by, it was on my way to visit my daughter, so we stopped in and saw what they had there before, and then on the way back home we stopped again just to see what else, because they were constantly putting things out. But I did find some pretty cool things. So, and there's a good bit here, but let me share with you the first thing, and this is heavy. This marble cutting board, let's show you here, made in Italy. Now, I got this from my daughter. She's more boho, she's more, not so much boho, but mid-century modern. And so this would look great in her house. She has some marble pieces. She likes to make sourdough and serve it in charcuterie boards and, the Gen Z, type, 25-year-old typical style that they tend to like. So this is gonna go to her. There is a chip, but it's not enough to really hurt the piece, but isn't that pretty? So I did get that for her, and that thing is so heavy. Like, I don't want to pinch my fingers. I found, and it needs washed, but I found this little, they had this sitting out, this little butter dish. So if I can show you the details, but it has little flowers, little dainty flowers all over. So pretty, dainty. There's no chips on this. It's in perfect condition, but I like little butter dishes. I like to eat real butter. So I thought that was pretty. There was this little apple cutting board. What does it say? Made in Vermont. I think it's an apple. I'm gonna say it's an apple. I like to put those on my plate rack that my husband made me in my kitchen. I like to switch those out. Or when I get my apples out here for this time of year, the apples are in season now. This would be cute to make like a little vignette with it. So lots of things I can do to layer with that piece. This little green and white, I think it's a washcloth. It's a handmade crocheted washcloth. Looks like someone tried to sell it for $1, but I got it free. It was in the bottom of the boxes they had sitting out. This hand-stitched piece was there. You could tell it was a home of an elderly person because of the types of things there. But isn't that pretty? Won't that be pretty to display in a frame? Like at, in the spring. You can tell it's homemade, hand-stitched. So pretty. And then, well, this really caught my eye from the road because I like those Hummel pieces. I'm not probably gonna keep this. I don't know if I should even donate it, but it's this Hummel piece. But it's like they took a picture cardboard. There's no way it came like this. And then hot glued it, so the glue is like puffy. Can't really tell. So it puffs it out, makes it like 3D. But I don't know. After I just grabbed it, put it in the bin. But it's on a piece of like plywood, particle board type wood. I need to decide if I want to donate. I'm not going to keep it either way. But I don't know if I'll donate it to the cat rescue or not. It might not even be something they want to mess with. I don't know. I hate to pawn it off if it's not worth anything. They had this box of cards, Christmas cards with envelopes left over. And I don't send out huge amounts, but I do like to have some cards. So when I see beautiful ones like this, look how pretty that is. The winter scene with the horse. And then inside it's like 2 pictures. So pretty. I love that. So I grabbed those out of the bin. There were these crocheted, well, I don't think they're real hand, let me see. These might be hand sewn, hand crocheted, but they're snowflakes. They'll be pretty on my tree. I have some that my mom has made, not just like this, similar, and so these will blend in with that. So that's why I kind of think, well, maybe they are hand crocheted. I'm not sure. I can't tell, but either way, they're really pretty, and they have a little bit of sparkle and shimmer to them. And then I got this color wheel because I like to, you know, play with colors, and so it was free. So why not? Why not? This pretty plate, and it says, yeah, it's a Homer Loughlin, made in the USA. Here's the stamp. But it's a pretty, like a burgundy red floral pattern. It's pretty. There's nothing wrong with it. It's in good shape. You know, beautiful, beautiful vintage plates. They come in handy. There was a stack of books there. This particular book is a daily light journal, still in the box. But when you take it out, it is like a devotional, brand new, never been written in, but it's for the entire year. You can kind of see the date, and then some devotional, and then an area where you can do your own journaling. I thought that was really pretty. It's brand new. There's no writing in it, and I do like to journal and do devotionals, so I thought that might be fun to use. So that was cool. And then, of course, an entire stack of books. There is a Bible. I feel kind of bad because, like, when my dad passed away, I wanted my dad's Bible. I did not get my mom's Bible, which I don't really understand that. My aunt got it, which, okay, whatever, but I kind of want the Bibles. There's no name in this, but the family who lived there, I could definitely tell they were Christians. They had a ton of Bible study type books. I don't see anything in this one. I thought maybe they would have a name or something. Maybe that's why they got rid of it. But it's this beautiful brown color. But you know, I like to stack them. I like to decorate with those. So that'll be pretty. And you know, I like a good gray tan linen. I'm not thrilled about this blue edge. What's this called? The quiet corner. And I don't know, what's it copywritten? 1965. I have no idea what it's about, but I like this cover, the soft linen. This is just a black, vintage black book, black covered book. Mr. Jones Meets the Master. Sermons and Prayers. Okay, that's cool. Copyright 1950 for this one. So, you know, to decorate with. There were these two little, they had a lot of like Bible school, Sunday school, little booklets and teachings and music books, and like they must have really been into their church. But there was this cute little Christmas cookie book, and then this cute little, what is this? It's a Christmas program builder, so it's a Christmas program book. Isn't that cute? That'll be fun to just tuck away to at Christmas and into a basket. But I was really excited about this book. And it's, have you ever read Eric McTax's books? So I read his book, 7 Women. It is really great. I recommend you get that and read it, even if you just go to the library and check it out. But this book was in there for free, 7 Men. I have not read this one, so I'm excited. I'm sure it's going to be just as good as the 7 Women. So I'm excited to read that. I can let you know if you want to know what I think about it. You know, when I can do like a little mini book review if you want. Just let me know in the comments. There was this little doll. I'm not getting her close to me because she smells like perfume, but I thought she's sweet. She needs wash. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't really decorate with dolls, but I felt bad. She was just kind of laying on the ground by herself. So I brought her home. There was this whole roll of velvet burgundy, and you know, ribbon from Kmart. But especially now, these colors are very trendy. Yeah, so a little tip, you know, to be on the lookout at thrift stores and even yard sales for these darker burgundies and greens and even blues and browns, chocolate brown, especially velvet, because for fall and for Christmas this year, I think you're really going to see them become popular. I know in 2024 they started around here in PA, and I imagine this year, at least, you know, just scrolling through Hobby Lobby, for example, these colors especially are, you know, really going to be popular this year. So that's a good way to kind of get, you know, to stay in the trends, is by thrifting those types of items, especially because if it's vintage, it kind of loops back around. But it's this dark, you know, dark academia, enriched kind of library feel that people are wanting versus the, you know, the bright and cheerful colors of the past. So just kind of keep that in, you know, tucked away when you're shopping or when you're planning out your especially your winter decor. Those colors you're gonna see them everywhere. I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking it was free. And I love the color, and it's a cat. And so I got this, I think it might be stuffed with sand. It's very firm, but look, why not? Even if I don't use the face side, this is cute. The fabric is pretty, actually. But I don't know, it's fun. And I just couldn't stand the thought of it getting put into a landfill, so I brought him home. But I actually think he will look cute back here on my library table. I kind of have that little kitten display back there with, you know, all the vintage pictures, and I think it might just be perfect there because I do have some green books, some green items. I think he's gonna look cute there. We'll find out here. Let's see, we'll see. But then there was this cute pillow. It's a corduroy, a beautiful green. This is like my favorite shade of green. So when I look for green in my home, I'm always drawn to this shade. But it has a pretty vintage red ribbon and little pine cones. I'm not sure if it's hand stitched, if it's handmade or not. I feel like it might be, but I don't know. It's cute. It'll look really good at Christmas. Even if I want to take this off and use it, you know, and I think it's a pretty good deal. Then, see, I think this is the last item. But these attracted my attention. These really drew me in, especially as I was walking up. But it's these two prints. Now, do you remember from some of my previous haul videos, I found a set of boy and girl, they're pirates, and I did use them in my summer decor. Well, this is from the same artist. So the backs, you can see they're very vintage. But by Anne Alabin. Anne Alabin is the artist. I was trying to see if it had like a stamp, but I thought they were cute. Look at that plaid. How pretty is that going to be at Christmas? Especially in a vignette where I'm using my vintage thermoses with the plaid and that, you know, that cooler that I got over the summer for $6. Like, wouldn't that be just so pretty overall with that plaid tucked here and there throughout the house for Christmas? Like, my wheels are really turning here. I'm really getting excited. I'm not gonna decorate for Christmas, so calm down. I'm still in the process of, you know, switching out for fall, but this has definitely got me thinking, and I probably should at least start planning ahead a little bit about what I am going to use at Christmas and what colors and themes and what I, you know, how I really want the house to look and feel. But this is definitely getting my wheels turning. Well, that was a very big haul today. I told you, snuggle in and get cozy, but I would love to know what it is that you thought was your favorite find, what I brought home that you just really enjoyed or that you would have brought home to your home too. Whether it was paid at the thrift store or if it was something free. You know, I would just love to know what your thoughts are, what your favorite item is. And so I just want you to know, you know, bringing these things home, it kind of just reminds me of, you know, what it's like to be restored. I know I find things and I'm like, what can I do with that? Like, it just seems silly, some things I bring home, but then I display them in a way that it looks pretty, and it just, you know, it just reminds me of second chances. It reminds me of restoration. And so that is just, I think, pretty special. It's a pretty special reminder. And I also want you to know that you are blessed and highly favored. And thank you so much for watching the video today.